Hi, this is Ryan Neal from the USA offices of Neal Saddlery and Harness, CowBoy Sewing Machines, and High-Tech Sewing Machines. And today we're going to do a feature video, the second part of our video series, on adjusting the thread tensions for the CowBoy Outlaw sewing machine, our new hand-operated leather stitcher. So we're going to show you how to adjust the top thread tension on the machine as well as the bobbin thread tension, and we're going to show you how to adjust the presser foot tension as well. So, like most heavy-duty sewing machines, the presser foot tension on this machine is a two-stage design, where you have a secondary tensioner, which is this apparatus on the top of the machine. We also refer to it as a pre-tension. Then we have the primary tensioner right here, which is where most of your thread tension is adjusted, hence the name primary tensioner. So what we do basically, remember on the primary tensioner when you're threading the machine, you want to wrap the thread around 2 full revolutions instead of 1 full revolution as we do on our 3200 and 4500 series machines. So what we definitely want to do when you thread this machine, when you're adjusting the tensions on this, you definitely want to read the bottom of the stitch on the machine, or read the top of the stitch as well. It's just referred to as reading the stitch. If you should happen to see knots or nubbies on the bottom side of the material, then what you would want to do is you would want to tighten these thread tension assemblies. And it's a fairly coarse adjustment on this. You can tighten it a full revolution if you'd like to start out with to get the desired stitch appearance, or you could tighten it in half revolutions or something like that, but it is a fairly coarse adjustment. So you would want to go ahead, for instance, if you were seeing nubbies on the bottom side of your material, you would want to progressively increase the tension on both of these mechanisms. Primary tension, you'll turn 1 full revolution. The secondary tension, you'll turn half of whatever you do on the primary. So if you do 1 over here, you'll do half of a turn over here. If you do 2 over here, you'll do 1 turn over here, and that gives you the effect of pulling the knot up. Now if you should notice nubbies or loops on the top side of your material, that's indicative of a high thread tension situation, in which case you would want to loosen this by 1 full revolution, loosen this by a half, or loosen this by 2 revolutions, loosen this by 1 revolution. So by balancing the thread tension between the top and the bobbin on the sewing machine, then you're able to achieve a stitch that's sucked into the center of the material, where you don't have any loops or nubs on either the top or the bottom of the material. I use the analogy of a tug-of-war between the top and the bottom. So if you see knots on the top side, that means the top's winning. You need to loosen your tension. If you see knots on the bottom side, then that means that the bottom's winning, and you need to tighten this tension so that it pulls the knot up. So that would give you a rough idea on how to adjust the thread tension. Of course, it is more of an art than it is a science, so you're basically going to have to do some tinkering with the machine to get the proper thread tension adjustment. Now the one thing I will say on this machine, if you're going, for instance, 1 layer of 8 to 10 ounce, stepping up to 2 layers of 8 to 10 ounce, it's possible that you would need to adjust the thread tension. When you step from 2 layers to 3 layers, it's less necessary. Only when you make severe changes in material thicknesses, I think, is it required that you do thread tension adjustments on these machines. So now the second step we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to adjust the bobbin tension on this machine. So in order to get to the bobbin, we snap off the bobbin case cover just like that, and I'm going to see, can our camera get a good view here? Okay, yes. So what we're going to do is to adjust the bobbin tension on this machine, you're going to pull the handle towards you just a little bit, putting this screw, this access screw, into view. And this is a set screw that holds the main adjuster screw, which is under here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but the main adjuster screw is under here. So we're going to loosen this screw, and then after that you're going to tighten or loosen the main screw, which adjusts the tension right here. So what I recommend for people, it has a very light bobbin tension, so you don't want to over tighten the bobbin tension. It should be nowhere near as the same strength as the top thread tension. So when you pull on the thread, it should pull with a little bit of resistance. Approximately 2 pounds of pull would be about what you would experience, 1 to 2 pounds of pull when you pull this out. It pulls out relatively easily. So again, to adjust the bobbin tension, you're going to loosen this set screw right here, and then you will tighten or loosen this screw, which has the effect of pulling this tension adjuster farther away or into the bobbin case, hence tightening or loosening the thread. So that is pretty much a nutshell version of how to adjust the bobbin tension on the CowBoy Outlaw. Now the third adjustment that we want to talk about is how to adjust the presser foot tension, which is adjusted up here. If you notice that the machine is leaving indentations or impressions in the leather, you would want to turn this counterclockwise and that has the effect of loosening the thread tension. If you notice that it's not enough thread tension, where for instance you're getting a phenomenon called presser foot pop, where the needle's on the upstroke and the presser foot pops up for a split second, that's indicative of a low presser foot tension situation, in which case you would want to tighten this presser foot tension adjuster. So, if it's leaving deep impressions in the leather, then you want to loosen. If you're experiencing presser foot pop, where the presser foot pops up when the needle's on the upstroke, you would want to tighten this. So, this is a brief operational video on adjustment for the CowBoy OUTLAW sewing machine. And if you have any additional questions, please feel free to call me directly. My name is Ryan Neal from the USA offices of Neal Saddlery and Harness, CowBoy sewing machines, and high-tech sewing machines. And I do thank you for your time today.